And now comes the ultra energy efficient. Boy, is he happy to have a clear blue, not a cloud in the sky day. He's got a solar panel on the roof of that 2015 Honda Fit on the right-hand side.
Welcome to the Honda Fit for Adventure 2021 walk around tour. I say it's 2021 because I'm gonna do this again next year and show you a few things that I've changed since then. There's a lot to cover, so let's get started. So let's start off with the lower light bar in the grill. I work overnight, so when I leave in the morning, I usually go to Wisconsin to go bouldering, and I don't want to hit any deer on the road. I also upgraded most of my lights to LEDs. I recommend that to everybody. That was a huge and great investment. Not a huge investment, it was a great investment. The stock Honda Fit LX came with 15-inch rims. These are 16-inch Sparco Terra, 7.5 inches wide. I'll put the offset down below, don't know that off the top of my head. The tires are Rikon Raptor 205/50 16. As I need new tires, we'll go up a tire size and a tire size, and I'll document everything you need to do for each tire size to make them work. We go around, I think the back windows are 5% and the front ones are 10 or 15%. They're just regular tint, they're not ceramic tint or anything. Go around to the back. This is a carbon fiber wrap. You can see small imperfections here. On the black fake vent, I got my CB radio antenna. I figured if I drill it here and remove it later, no one's gonna notice two holes in the plastic. Speaking of imperfections, you can see I got my dent right there. I think that was from a shopping cart when I first got the car. Florida Sun Pass. Oh, this one too. I had a little bit of rust there, or I thought it was a little bit of rust. I sanded and sanded, and eventually my hand went through. I did a quick repair because it was in November and I didn't want any snow or salt getting on there. And I didn't fully repair this because, like I said, if I start getting bigger tires, I'm probably gonna have to cut and roll this anyway. So I didn't want to finish this up. Up on top, you see we have the Thule roof rack. These can be quite expensive, but I bought it on Amazon used, all my pieces, so that saved me about 33% off the total price. Another imperfection, this was my fault. I didn't clip it on all the way and it flew off. Before each road trip, I like to do a nut and bolt check on the roof rack, make sure it doesn't slide back, because that did happen once. And you can see I got some clear vinyl underneath it to prevent any scratches and rubbing. Go around on this side, we have a high lift jack, 48 inches, totally unnecessary, but to mount on the roof rack, I needed the 48-inch high lift jack because I tried the 42-inch and I'd have to take off the winch adapter plate to make it work. So the spacing on my crossbars is further than the Thule recommends, and this was to make the roof basket work on my car because I put the extension piece on. It's a Thule XTC roof basket, cargo basket with extension, and comes pretty close, all the way to the front of my windshield. Another flaw and imperfection, the Thule diffuser. I'm sure you've seen it all online where they're misshapen. I've added some more brackets and eventually it just flew off. So that is gone. This is a 42-inch curved light bar. So on my roof basket, you'll see I have 3 80-watt solar panels. They're connected on a 36-inch piano hinge, which is connected to LED light bar mounts for a roll bar. So it will hinge up and I could pitch it toward the sun. I think that's kind of unnecessary, honestly. It does good enough job laying flat. I do need to get hydraulic or gas shocks, so when I do prop it up, it'll stay up on its own. For right now, I just kind of use like a stick. Not gonna lie, no showboating here. Here I have the Yakima 4-gallon road shower. I would recommend getting a medium if you're gonna get one, but I wanted this one low profile and to match everything else. The tank itself is actually pretty good, but the hose it comes with is okay, and the shower head, it broke. I think there's some water in it, and the heat should have enough pressure. That's not charged, that's just the natural pressure from the heat on the outside. There's a lake nearby, so I just jump in the lake. I actually use this more for dishes than I do showering. I think that's pretty much everything on the outside. Oh yeah, inside the basket there's 2 Rototrax traction boards, a 4-gallon Rotopax gasoline tank. I had the 2 gallons that you attach in the middle, but lifting them out was kind of a pain because they'd sag and droop. So if it was like a side mounting configuration, it probably would have worked better. But 1 solid 4-gallon tank definitely gets the job done. Let's take you on the inside. It's a little messy, it's just how we roll. To the left, we got the old school GPS unit, because sometimes you do not get cell reception. Over here is a tablet holder. I like running a tablet with Waze and Google Maps side by side because there's more screen real estate and you could actually visually see the speed trap before it gives you the audio warning. But most of the time I just stick my phone in here, turn it sideways. It's pretty secure. It's mounted via the CD player. This is a base model, so no infotainment. Up here we got the OBD2 gauge sensor. You don't have to race your car to have an OBD2 gauge reader. If you do long road trips, it's also helpful just to keep an eye on your engine diagnostics. Down here, dash cam, it's 1080p. I would recommend getting a 2K one at least. This does the job fairly well, but if you need to zoom in on a license plate, you're gonna want 2K. Solar powered flashlight, radar detector. That'll bring me down to my switches, radar. Middle one, almost like the FU button for the upper light bar. Bottom one, lower light bar. Over on the right, I usually have a hygrometer somewhere in here that says the temperature and humidity, especially when I'm sleeping in the car. I know a lot of you are interested in like the humidity levels. It's not terrible, but when you're sleeping in the car with 2 people, the humidity can definitely get crazy and you want to keep an eye on that to prevent any mold issues. Down here, this is kind of new, so don't judge me. I got the CB radio slash scanner slash PA speaker, holler out the front. This is new too. I'm trying to get all this flush. That's for the LED lights, and all the other ones are open at the moment. Yes, I removed the cup holders. That's everyone's biggest complaint. I had the GPS down here, which obstructed this because I used to have my change cup holder in here. So I kicked the GPS up there. I removed my radio antenna, and that's how my solar panel cables are going into the car. I figured I'm not going to use the radio. I've got Bluetooth on my phone and MP3 players. Well, when you want to go to a holiday light show display or a drive-in movie, you're going to need that antenna. Nothing too purdy or Instagrammy about it. The cooler is new, so that's just placed in the back here, and I just got this as well. No, I got it last year, but I haven't used it yet. The USB fan, they're enough, they're all right, but like if it's 90 degrees and hotter, like all night, I want something with a little bit more power. This I just have out. Usually I'm in here in a sleeping bag. This is a 12-volt blanket that's hooked up to my solar. I just got the fridge, I'm testing that out. I need to upgrade my battery. It's a 54 amp hour SLA battery. So I only have about 27 usable amp hours, and it's not quite enough to cover everything, especially since I just got the cooler. So I do have a larger battery, but I'm not gonna install that yet until I come back from my next road trip. So I'm gonna run this really cold during the day and then unplug it at night to save power and run my fan and other devices, such as my light. If you watch my cooking video, I just string that up there. Illuminates my campground pretty good. Eventually, I want to run my own lights in here and turn it on and off with a switch. That'll be coming in the future. And then my solar is under here with some spare cables, my air compressor to charge the road shower, and to pump up my air. It's my extra USB ports. 12-volt switches. This is in my spare tire area. My spare tire is behind the seat. So I want to move my solar and probably build it into the walls, and then throw my full-size spare tire back under here, and then move the cooler behind the seat. So that will be coming up when I get back from my road trip. My mattress is a rock climbing pad, a crash pad. This is a medium-sized Metolius. You can get a foldable mattress pad on Amazon. It's a lot cheaper, but I already had this and it works perfectly. Then I got my window inserts. Take those out real quick. Suntan lotion, bug spray. My other door, I got my rain gear. So I still have one back seat. The other seat I took out. You can see I got my spare tire in there. I don't always have my backpack in the car, so I do always keep a towel and my swim trunks. My BioLite, all my cooking utensils and stuff is in my backpack. Some wood pellets. What I don't have right now is an empty one of these that I usually keep an empty bag in, and some sanitary wipes, because you can use your spare tire as a toilet. Put a plastic bag down inside of your spare tire. There you go. Throw a towel over you, no one will ever know. So occasionally I go bouldering with a group of friends, or I go group camping, which is why I kept the third seat in. I can put my rock climbing pad here, and usually a second one because I'm going with more than one person, and then we just stack our backpacks in the back, and then now I have a cooler on the side that'll last us. So I can go single, dual, or even 3 people. Obviously when I go with 3 people, we're not all sleeping in the car. Starting off, I did not have a platform build. I have a trifold mattress. This is actually a bouldering crash pad, medium size by Metolius. I think it works perfectly. I can fold up the back and access my spare tire area, which is where I have my solar batteries and USB and 12-volt plugs connected to the solar batteries. Push that down. One sleeping bag for me, one sleeping bag for my fiance. Pillows out of the way. We can fold up the back side and access my backpack, which is where I have my clothes, some dry food, and some of my cooking gear. And then my fiance has her own backpack to store her stuff. So we're basically living like hikers and backpackers and sleeping in the car. Put the pillows back up. For the front divider, all that is a beach towel that I usually keep in my car anyway. This door, I have some rain gear. It's like my everyday carry in my car. Over on this side, bug spray, suntan lotion. And then I have my window privacy screens that I've made in my other video. Again, I didn't choose a platform build, nothing against them. If you're gonna build one, try to keep it low as possible so you can optimize your movement in the car. I've seen some platform builds where they're up to here. I'm like, how are you changing in 1 foot of space, especially in a rainy day or cold situation? I digress. So you pretty much have the back seat covered now. Now let's act like we're waking up in the morning. Let's get out of our sleeping bag. You can do this with 2 people in the car, but most likely one person is going to wait outside while the other person is getting ready. So, sleeping bag on that side, pillow. I'm going to take out my backpack. Open it up. I do have a stuff sack for my sleeping bag, but for video purposes, that's what I'm going to do for now. So I got my backpack, passenger's backpack, that's still plenty of room for one person to move around. And then I'm going to take down my towel. I have nothing against platform builds, but I'm sure you've seen ones that are this high and then you got some blankets in there. How do they move around? How do they move around?
That's not my actual height, that's just for camera purposes today.
Folded behind my back seat. That's part of my everyday carry in my car. This is my swim trunks and my beach towel. You never know when there's a lake or a pool nearby. Then I'll reach behind my seat, grab my shoes. I could put these on or go out one of the side doors, but I got my trunk open, so I'm gonna go out my trunk. Now I'm gonna come in through the side door. Backpacks, 2 pillows, fold up, a tri-fold mattress, crash pad, scoot my seats up forward. There's that. Now I'm going to put my window inserts right behind the seats. There's the rear window. And there we go. So if you're in the driver's seat and you look back, you can clearly see out your rear window. 2 backpacks, 2 pillows, mattress folded over, and my window inserts. Let me show you what I got going on behind the seats. I did remove one rear seat. The window inserts. Here we have the rear passenger seat folded down. Here I have my full-size spare tire, because in my spare tire area is where I have my solar battery and solar ports. I got 3 containers in the back. My BioLite compressed wood pellets that I use for cooking. That's pretty much what I do most of my cooking on, is my BioLite if I can. If not, I'm just eating some cold or raw food in the car. And then I got 2 containers. They're missing a plastic bag inside, because worst case scenario, I'm moving this, some wipes, I'll put a plastic bag down in my spare tire area. How to shit in a Honda Fit. So once you're done doing your business, obviously clean up, wipe the seat down, take the plastic bag out, spin it up, put it in your container, pack in, pack out. I don't drop number 2s in these all day long, but for those rare occasions, there they are. I also carry a torque wrench to change my tire, because the wrench that came with the spare tire actually bent in half, so I would recommend replacing that if I were you. One of my improvements that I want to make in the future is to move my solar batteries and plugs somewhere else and place the full-size spare tire back into the spare tire area, and then this would free up some room to add a 12-volt cooler. So let's put my window inserts back in place. So you can leave it like this, or you can even leave it folded up like a couch. So now you know how my car is organized and how my mattress works out. Let's peel back some of the layers and show you how my solar is set up. This is in real time. In a matter of about 60 seconds, I can make this back to my regular Honda Fit. Voila! One more thing before we get on to my solar setup on the spare tire area. So now I got 3 seats. I can drive with 3 people. We can go group camping. Here we have my larger crash pad. Here's the one I use to sleep on. Put that in there. And then we just slide our backpacks on the top. I usually bring a smaller backpack when I go group camping. Get 2 or 3 of them up there. And then I still have just enough room for my new toy. Got enough for the 3rd person, and you could see out of half of the back window at least. All right, let's get back to my solar setup. So I've definitely added some things since I first built this, so I do need to upgrade my battery situation, which is also why I'm trying to move it out of here and put the full-size spare tire back in the spare tire area. So this is my solar setup. Underneath, I've got the battery and charge controller, the wiring going to a bunch of USB and 12-volt plugs. Here's my 12-volt heated blanket. I also have a 12-volt to USB adapter, so I could run this off a USB battery pack if I want to save some power. My 12-volt air compressor, obviously to fill up my tires and to charge my road shower. Spare tire jack. I did not design it to fit in here that perfectly. That just worked out. And then I usually have the head for my road shower over on this side. I've got 8 USB charging ports. Turn them on, turn them off. Why so many? Well, I just showed you that sometimes I can have up to 3 people in this car on a camping trip. And if everybody's got a cell phone, a headlamp light, or a GoPro that needs to be recharged, we're going to use up all of these ports. This one here is just a USB lamp I put on the hatch of my car. Lights up the campsite nice. It's not dimmable, which I don't like. Then I told you 12-volt plugs. Run the air compressor, and then obviously now I have the 12-volt cooler I need to run.
Hey, pop the hood.
Pop the hood?
Pop the hood.
So I've upgraded the battery since then, and I've had to rearrange some stuff in here, so it was a lot cleaner, so do not judge me of how it looks for now. Still not too bad. I have the solar panels coming in where the radio antenna used to be. That way I didn't have to drill a hole in my car. They come down the left-hand side into the box. The charge controller, the fuses are down there, and the battery is underneath this. It's a 54 amp hour SLA battery, so that gives me 27 amp hours of usable power. So far it's been pretty good. I can definitely charge it up real quick in the day with the 380 watt solar panels, but I definitely need more storage capacity to keep everything running that I have. This was recently added. Like I said, don't judge some of the wiring here. turn all that off. In here I just got some zip ties, extra fuses, the tow hook, 12-volt extension, and then it's carpeted in here in case we lay our cameras or phones in there. We'll just pack everything back up. Welcome back to the pilot area tour of my Honda Fit. Over on the left side, we've got the old school GPS, because that's always going to get service. You can see that my cell phone connection does not at the moment. I don't always run the tablet, but sometimes I like to run the tablet up front and run Waze and Google Maps side by side for the speed trap alerts. The purpose is having more screen real estate, and you could actually see the speed trap alert before it audibly alerts you. For going up top right here, turn on the first switch, and that is the Uniden R3 radar detector. K-band, Ka-band, laser. I did not go with the R7 because it connects to your phone via Bluetooth and may or may not send your driving habits to a third party. Please read that user license agreement. And then if we step it up a notch, we have a 1080p dash cam. I would recommend getting at least 2K. 1080p is pretty good, but if you need to zoom in on a license plate, you're going to want that 2K. The quality is better than what you're seeing on the screen. This is just a really cheap screen, honestly, so the quality on this isn't as good as what it's actually recording. That's hooked up to my solar battery, so that's on 24/7. Up here we have the Luffy OBD2 gauge reader. You don't have to be like a street racer or twos racer to want to keep track of your engine's internals. If you're driving on a road trip for a long period of time, sometimes that's a good thing to keep an eye on. For instance, when I did my Chicago to Florida trip, I overheated my exhaust and the catalytic converter started to smell like rotten eggs. That is a thing. Coming down on the right side, we've got a voltage meter. I installed this right after I installed my first two light bars. Let's jump to the right a little bit. You can see we have a hygrometer, so it measures the high and low temperature as well as the high and low humidity levels. If you're camping inside your car, I know that's something that you want to keep an eye on or something that people are interested in. Going down, you can see we have our PA speaker. I could yell at people to get out of the way. CB radio and emergency scanner. This is still getting dialed in. The CB antenna is almost ready, and you can see I'm not getting a position for the GPS receiver up here for the emergency scanner. The glove box area I keep empty for my passengers. I've got some stickers I can hand out to people. Yes, I pulled out a PlayStation remote. I could play an emulator on the tablet. As you may have seen in my other video, I posted this up in the back window and played some games before I went to bed. This moth in here. Sunglasses for the passenger, sunglasses for me. And the center console, deodorant, toothbrush, some body spray, extra 12-volt charger with some extra charging cables. Mostly everybody's complaints is that I took out the cup holders in here. So I have one on the left side for a larger drink, and then they can use the right side one, but pretty much for a can of soda or something else that is small in size. And then right here I just recently installed, it's not flush yet, so don't judge me on there. It's a series of switches. Only one of them is hooked up. So these two are hooked up to the solar battery, and then the two on the right are hooked up to the car battery. And the one on the far left, you can see, is hooked up to my underglow or running lights, I think you call them in the camping world. And if you look in back, like I said, I keep it pretty simple. What I added is the 12-volt cooler that will eventually go behind the seat, and then I have a 12-volt 12-inch fan. Nothing wrong with USB fans, but on high and a small blade they tend to make a lot of noise, so this on low with a larger blade is probably going to move as much air, if not more. Let's go back real quick, and right there is my solar diagnostic meter. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but it shows the input coming in from the solar panels, my battery level, and then the output. I had this mounted flush on the side panel before, but I think I knocked it with my feet while sleeping and changed the charging parameters, so I burnt out a battery that way. At least that's what I think happened. Oh yeah, my switches. So radar detector, lower light bar on the far right, and then the middle switch, almost like the middle finger, would be the big light bar. Big light bar, lower light bar. So that concludes the tour of my Honda Fit. Thank you everyone for watching my videos. I want everyone to drive safe and have a nice day.